everyone, Gabriel here for Smart Fitness. I want to dive a little bit more into correcting posture. Of course, there are many different ways to address that, but the questions I get right now are in regards to lower back or middle back area. So the big thing I find is not being able to create the stability that we need to in the lower back lumbar spine area before we execute movement or a particular exercise. So an example would be something like if we're sitting down, we have a rounded back. Before we create the stability that we need to in the lumbar spine or the stomach, we end up arching our back and overcorrecting. So now we have this nice little round back. So essentially we go from one direction to the other, or from one extreme to the other. And what we want to be able to do is create tension or brace the stomach and then correct, as opposed to overcorrect. You can also think about maybe pulling the rib cage down, and then you'll feel tension through this rib cage region, and that should help keep you kind of aligned, or you can think about having a nice stacked spine as opposed to over extending. And this will apply to any type of exercise, any pulling, anything like that. Maybe something where you're rotating like this. Again, what might happen is you may end up over pulling or overextending, and then you just end up, again, arching your back. So it'll be important to think about creating tension in the stomach to create the stability that we need to in the lower back, and to ultimately get the spine aligned and not essentially utilize the lower back. This also applies to standing. So if we're sitting down, we may end up wanting to lead with the chest, where we end up arching the back, and then we stand, and then we have this nice arch in the back. That's something that we don't want to do, so the same thing would apply where we end up creating the tension that we want to in the stomach, and then when we stand up, we end up having a more neutral spine and not leading with the chest. So again, there's a lot of different ways to address posture issues, but the big thing for this would be being able to create the tension that we need to in the stomach. A few cues I like to use is just either think about pulling the rib cage down. You can put your hands on your rib cage. You should feel like the rib cage is kind of in there. You shouldn't be able to kind of grab the rib cage, or they shouldn't feel like they're out there. Another thing you can think about is maybe fogging up your glasses. So that dramatic exhale tends to engage your diaphragm and ultimately pull the rib cage in. So those are usually two big things I look at when it comes to being able to pull the rib cage in. But I hope that helps you. If you have any questions, just let me know.